Welcome to the Bird Gang Nation Sports Media Show, repping the greatest team of all time. Let's go! Bird Gang 31, he be the host with the most. We going deep, burning teams. They ain't nothing but toast. It's in your rest there. Sirianni put me in coach, running like Miles Sanders till I butt my head on the post. Touchdown! Yeah, that's coming. Devontae's crazy route running. Jalen hurting them, throwing lasers to Rager, young gunning. Come on! On the D side, we ride, sack him with Fletcher, lay him out on the stretcher. No one can protect you. Watch Darius lay him, shutting down your routes. Come on! In my green John, eating Philly cheesesteaks. Put up your cups, wings up, if you can relate. Tailgating at the link like Gangsta Stride. To the Bird Gang Nation, that's worldwide. On Sundays, catch the pre and post game. Mondays is Birds on Broad Street with Philly Notion and Cool Cat, the man in motion. And Wednesdays, the midweek special got you open with JC from Eagles Talk, hitting like B-Dog, baby.
Welcome to another episode of Bird Gang Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, Bird Gang 31. Today, Nation, we got some very special guests in the building. It's the Philly Shakedown podcast themselves, guys. We got some goats in the building. How you guys doing today?
We are doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having us on. It's wonderful to have us. Sorry that Joey was 10 minutes late.
Bull. That's not even true, bro. Stop.
I'm sorry, I was late. It's on me.
He's like, Cap.
Yeah, I appreciate you having us on, really. We've been trying to get this going, all three of us together, so I'm really happy we're able to do it today. So,
yeah, I think this is the first, we're the first, this is the first time we've been on a show as the Philly Shakedown podcast, right? On another show, Joey. I think you're the first one, bro. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think we've done that together as a group. Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's very cool. See, always a first. We're gonna have to have him take the little prick with his finger and do the little saint thing. You're going to be a made man in the Shakedown podcast,
right? It's gotta be easy to get you guys over here to get me on that. So that show's already doing the thing.
We'll get you on. We'll definitely do it.
Yeah.
So, guys, Eagles won again. You know what I'm saying? What's your guys' take from the game last week?
Joe, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, no, I really did. From the Saints game, I think we really did a good job, offensively and running the football. I think everything was most likely perfect except for the second half where we kind of, when Nick was talking about being conservative and the defense was definitely being conservative. So I thought we ran the ball well. I thought Jalen was very poised in the pocket. I thought the offensive line was blocking very well. And, we were getting everything going. We were getting the ball to everybody. And I think it was a good game. I mean, we played tough. We manhandled the Saints, and it was a good day. It was a good day.
I think it was a turning point for this team. That's the kind of game I think it was. I know that the Saints offensively were really beat up and all those kind of things, but that defense had their players. They had their guys. They were there, and they got bullied. They got beat up. The Eagles' offensive line especially just destroyed the Saints. And I think it's one of those games that, to me, it's the game that I look at this team and I say, this is an ascending team right now. This is a team on the way up, and so to me, I think in a few years, I think we're going to look at this game and say, this is when they started to really, turn that corner. I really feel like that's what this game was to me.
Yeah, man, I agree, man. I think this actually put that stamp on. We got 2 quality to wins in the back to back, and now it's time to hit this stretch, man. How did you guys like the way the offensive line played this last game? Mailata got mad early. They made him mad early, and that was the wrong thing to do because he dominated those guys. Guys like Cam Jordan ain't no joke. You know what I'm saying? And that guy couldn't do nothing all day against Mailata and Lane Johnson, them boys.
Yeah, like Mulata's got that Philly grit to him. I mean, he's tough. I mean, even that one they pushed Jalen Hurts out of bounds, and he kind of warned that guy, like, don't push my quarterback around. And then I'll say, obviously, him and Davenport had a huge fight later on. But I've loved how this whole offensive line has been playing. Like, it's a brick wall, guys. Like, we could run the ball on any team at this point. This is the number 1 rushing defense that we were facing, and they did a really good job. Dickerson at left guard been playing fantastic, looking like he's becoming a gem. If he stays relatively healthy, this is a steal pick. Probably not the pick everybody wanted, obviously, because I know me and Philly wanted 2 other players in JOK and Asante Samuel Jr. in the second round, but it seems like he's playing really well. Kelsey is just as a monster out there. Obviously you have Driscoll that's at right guard right now that's filling in pretty well, can play right guard and right tackle. And, Lane Johnson, really, we haven't been able to say anything bad about him since he came back from all the mental issues and everything that was going on with him. So offensive line is just that's keeps this offense going with this run game. Definitely.
Listen, when Nick Sirianni, he says, we're nasty. That's our identity. That's how I look at this offensive line. Like, I think you remember John Runyon, how nasty John Runyon was. I think you have a bunch of John Runyons on this line. Mulata is nasty, dude. He don't put up with nothing. Landon Dickerson's, he's got that same nasty streak in him. We already know Lane Johnson has it. And then Kelsey, the way he's playing right now, I mean, they're a nasty bunch. They are really, I mean, that is a great offensive line. And by the way, they still need to add more pieces to it. But if you look at what they have, especially on that left side, I think with Jordan Mailata, and I'm assuming, I don't know if Dickerson will stay there, but I kind of almost don't even want to move him at this point. So you got a really good offensive line, and they're nasty, man.
Yeah, man. I agree with both of you guys. 2-part question to that, though. Brooks is practicing again, I heard. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to be back out there practicing. We should see him again over the next 2 weeks. Insert him back in right away. Don't worry about the chemistry. Just get him back in there and let him see what he can do the rest of this season. And the other part of the question would be next year, are we keeping Brooks or are we moving on from him?
I say this. I say you keep. As soon as Brooks can play, you put him in. Okay, because when he plays, he's great when he plays. If he's playing, you're getting a Pro Bowl right guard. As far as next year goes, he's got to go because I can't put up with these injuries anymore every year. It's just too much. Unless he's going to take a huge salary reduction, you got to let him go, and you're going to have to. I don't know what you do. I don't know if you move Dickerson back over to right guard and put Sayamalo back when he comes back. I don't know how they're going to do it. Me personally, I would like to see them in the second round draft another guard. That's what I would like to see them do.
He literally has been hurt every point of this offseason going into the season, from OTAs to training camp. Obviously, the 2 Achilles injuries, 2 seasons before that. But the first week of the Falcons, he was hurt with a knee injury. Then the 49ers game, he had a pectoral. So it really hasn't stopped with his injury. It just keeps going and going. So I looked at the numbers for Brandon Brooks, and I think you should throw him in there if he is healthy, and it's an upgrade over Driscoll, even though Driscoll is playing well. But he is, if you trade him post-June, you'll save $13 million, but you have a $6 million cap hit. He's a $19.5 million cap hit next year. And for a guy that's making that much money and not even playing, I don't know what you do here. But I think you get rid of him. I don't think you need him. I think get some draft compensation. I don't know what you're going to get, but maybe if you start him now, build some trade capital with him. This way, there's some worth, there's some value there. Just don't make him a backup the rest of the season. I would just put him in there. This way, you could get some attention there, and maybe trade him next year. So it's a big problem.
Do you want to see Herbert there though at that spot? even moving
So
forward next year? Or
just don't put Herbert at center. The
right?
big thunder thighs, his legs are so big that they rub together. You smell the bacon. There's no way that dude can snap no football through them giant legs. He's got to be a guard. He's not a center. I don't like him as center.
Because as much as I like the way Driscoll's playing, it seems like he's more of a tackle to me. You know what I'm saying? His body structure, the way he moves. I feel like, he probably is our sixth best lineman. But in terms of body structure, I would rather see a guy like Herbert in there at that guard spot.
Yeah, I think he can play both guard spots. I think he can. Like, I think he's the more you know on the offensive line, the more positions you can play on the offensive line, the more worth you're going to have. So I think 500 was right. We definitely have to add more pieces to the offense, and we're not even done yet with the offensive line. I think we need to add more pieces. I think we've hit a lot of offensive linemen. Isaac Seumalo's going to be a huge piece next year to see where he's going to go if Jason Kelce does retire. So you can keep Landon at left guard, which I think we all do want at this point. If Kelce does retire, you can move Seumalo to center because he's played that position before. So they could move some guys around, but
Yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, we'll see what we have to do there. How'd you guys like Miles Sanders' first game back?
I thought Miles, if you take away the fumbles, I thought he played fine. I thought he played fine his first game back, but that fumble, it was really only one fumble. That's a big problem. You can't fumble down at your 6-yard line. That cannot happen.
No.
So Miles has to hold on to that ball, but I thought overall, he broke a couple big runs. He's explosive. He's got to do a better job protecting that ball. But I thought Miles was fine overall. I did.
Yeah, I thought he, other than the fumbles, I thought he played a good game. I want to ask, I think just, everyone's making a big deal because everyone thinks Miles Sanders is going to ruin the rhythm to this backfield with Jordan Howard and Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell. So I want to ask you guys, do you guys think, Miles Sanders is trying to get the home run play every single time he gets the ball? Do you think he kind of hesitates a little bit tries to make a move to try to get the big home run play, or do you think he just needs to keep running, or do you think it's just he was just trying to make whatever he could with the snaps that he did get in this game that we just had?
Yeah, he definitely dances too much sometimes. That he does do that, but it's one of those things. I almost go back, and he's not Barry Sanders, but when people used to complain that Barry Sanders would have at times 4 carries for -3 yards because he danced around too much, they don't realize that he also is going to break off 80-yard 2-3 80-yard runs, and I think Miles too. I think that's just sometimes what you get with those home run hitters. So, you want to keep it, you want to do it as little as possible, but I just think that's just how he's going to ride. I don't think that's going to change.
Yeah, we had a guy like Shady that used to do that all the time too, you know what I'm saying? I think it's a little bit of both, that's his style. You got to let him do it, just give him the carries because, without the carries, I do feel like him not getting the carries earlier this season did put him in that mode where he had to try to make the home run every single time he touched the ball to the point where, that probably did affect his playing style. But if you gave him consistent carries, I don't think, because we've seen Miles hit the hole before and go, take it the distance before too. So I just think he was probably pressing a lot more than he probably normally would like to because we weren't running the ball at that time. We should see probably the rest of the season if Nick sticks to this run game that we got going, then we can probably get a better evaluation of Miles Sanders and how good he really is. I think he can be a top 5 back.
So far. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, so far they're staying in the right formula for this offense. I just don't want them to do what they did in the second half. It's totally why they even think about going conservative. I don't know why they didn't. You're trying to get your first home win. I don't know why they're even thinking about taking their foot off the gas. For what reason possible, I don't know why.
Yeah, I say they should never take the foot off the gas until the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? And if you're up by a lot, then take it down. But none of these games, like the NFL, you've seen too many games, be 21-point differences going into the third quarter. The next thing you know, the other team won by 14. You're like, what just happened? You know what I'm saying? There's too much time. These teams can score at will nowadays with this passing offense, passing league system. And I agree, man. Never take your foot off the gas. Keep your foot on the throat the whole game. But if you're gonna do it, wait till at least the end of the game where the game's already done before you do it.
Yep, I agree. Hopefully, it was a rookie mistake, and he knows better next time.
Right.
So what do you guys think about the contract extensions? The Dallas Goedert, the Maddox, and the TJ Edwards.
I think a lot of people like the Maddox extension more than the Goddard extension. And I don't know. There's a lot of people out there that don't think Goddard's still like anything special at tight end, but I think he's nasty. I think he's more of like a possession receiver out there and could get more yards. Avonte Maddox, that just kind of solidifies your secondary. Depending if Steven Nelson walks next year, you could have the same secondary next year. If he does walk, they could draft the guy. So I thought with some of these extensions, TJ Edwards he had 10 tackles, 2 pass deflections, and he had a pick yesterday. He had a pick the other day. So, and 3,500 early in the season, probably early in the offseason, said the flashes that he's seen from TJ Edwards. I think we all kind of saw that. And really not getting his chance. Davion Taylor not getting his chance. Jim Schwartz not starting him till week 10 of the season. Obviously, Davion Taylor's on IR for a few weeks now, which is a big loss, but TJ Edwards definitely deserving of another year. I didn't know what his contract was. So I think we found a really good linebacker for this team. Really do.
Yeah. Westy Rock, what's up? Richie MC, what is up? I see you guys in the chat. I love the extensions. And I was a little surprised that a lot of people didn't like the Goddard extension because they said he never had 600 yards or 700 yards in a season. But what do you expect when you're really the backup for that many years? So I love the Goddard extension. Once you trade Zach Ertz, you've kind of committed. So you got to sign him. Avonte Maddox, great signing. He's had a fantastic year. And then you look at TJ Edwards, and I say this, and I said this in my last video. TJ Edwards is not just the best linebacker on the Eagles. He's actually a good linebacker. You see, we've had such crappy linebackers over the years that saying you're the best linebacker on the Eagles isn't a big compliment. It's, are you a good linebacker in the league? And I think TJ Edwards has that ability. I think he's on pace to. So getting him for $3 million for next year, it's a bargain.
Yeah, I think it was a good deal on that Edwards deal, just a 1-year deal. See if he can do it again next year, you know what I'm saying? Because like you said, He's just coming up this year. We're just starting to give him his respect. Can you do it, finish out the season doing what you're doing? Can you move into next season and do it again? Then maybe you can get a fat contract. But we definitely still need some more pieces at that linebacker position. Davion Taylor got hurt again. I like Davion, but it's like he's always hurt, it seems like. He's another one that's always hurt. He comes in, plays 2 good games, or a game or 2 good, a couple good plays or something, and then he's back to the sideline for a while. So it's like we definitely need to fill it up. I wouldn't mind seeing us draft one in the first round this year. I'm praying for it.
I would love to see a linebacker in the first round. Are you kidding me? That would be great. I don't see it happening, but I would love it.
You don't think with 3 first-round picks, say we get the 3, and not needing the quarterback, I figure one of those 3 should be on the offensive lineman. You know what I'm saying? But cornerback, linebacker should be the other 2 picks.
I could tell you, I'm 95% sure that the Eagles' first pick will be a defensive end. I'm almost 95% sure because the defensive line is so important to this team, and they need defense. They need edge rushers so bad. Unless they go and spend big money in free agency on 2 defensive ends, I got to think first pick is defensive end. Then you need
Thibodeau's not there.
Yeah, well, there's apparently another kid, Hutchinson or something like that. There's supposed to be, I think, 3 top defensive ends. Then you got, that corner Stingley, who I like, and then you got that safety Hamilton. I think they would go that before they would go linebacker. I just don't think the Eagles value the linebacking position to draft a guy in the first round and pay him first round money. That's just not that's not what they do. It's not what they've done. I mean, when's the last time the Eagles have taken a linebacker in the first round? I think it would probably be in the 80s, maybe.
No.
I think pass rusher makes more sense because obviously, like Derek Barnett is walking, thank God. Brandon Graham will probably come back on a veteran minimum because I highly doubt he's going to end his career on a Achilles injury, depending on how he's going to be next year. If he can be the same next year, so they got to give him the cheapest contract possible. Josh Sweat gets his contract and really does nothing with it 3 sacks a year, and that's pretty much it. So at this point, like, I'm looking at defensive end, and then I'm looking at safety because you're going to have Rodney McLeod on a 1-year contract, Anthony Harris on a 1-year contract, and the Eagles could have 3 first-round picks. So Kyle Hamilton comes to mind from Notre Dame, and see what they could do there to bring in. I'm not saying that Anthony Harris and Rodney McLeod are going to leave after this year. They're definitely going to bring one of those guys back, probably McLeod if that's the case, and then obviously maybe draft a guy maybe with one of those first-round picks as well. So I agree with the pass rush because they need it badly. I don't know what's going to happen with Fletcher Cox. Hargrave's getting doubled. Fletch played a better game last game.
You don't know what's going to happen with what?
Huh?
You said you don't know what's going to happen with what?
What do you mean? We don't have
Fletcher what? You said something about about Fletcher what?
I don't know if he's going to get traded or whatnot, and it's probably one of the worst years for probably number 91 is one of his worst years this year, as of right now. So we'll see what happens. But I'm looking at pass rush. I'm looking at safety right now, realistically. But
I'll tell you this, Bird Game 31. I agree with you on. Like, I'm with you in that, yes, get a linebacker in the first round. I would have no problem with it. I just don't know that the Eagles would do it. I mean, it just seems like every time there's a really good linebacker over there, they never take them. And
the dream scenario would be like, say the Dolphins lose out, you get a high pick, you go up there and get Thibodeau for DN. Then, if you get lucky with another lower one, if the Colts kind of fall apart at the end of the season, you can go get a guy like Hamilton. And then, whatever the best lineman. Because I still feel like we need another lineman in the draft next year. You said, Kelsey might be gone. We need to get rid of Brooks. And Lane doesn't have that many more years, depending on his ankle, if he can stay healthy back-to-back years, things like that. It'd be good to get another lineman, a top-quality lineman, in that mix there to get some experience backed up behind those guys. So we'll see what they do. So what was the best part of the game that you like from this last game? What was the best part for you guys?
Definitely the ankle breaking run by Jalen Hurts. That was a signature moment. That was one of those things that to me will go back years from now, and you'll look and you'll think of that one play. It's like, remember the McNabb play early in his career against Washington where he does the shake and he runs to the end zone? Like, you're going to remember that play. So that was my favorite moment.
And I think the pick 6 from Darius Slay, too, was only like 15 to 20 seconds left in the second quarter, which we really weren't expecting. And, Simeon threw a really bad pass, and I think that was some quick points right there. Slay's already scored 3 touchdowns in 4 games, and I don't know. He's played really good. I was in the Detroit line for a long time, too, but he's having a monster year this year, like to his prime. I mean, he is something special.
Did you guys see what he said about scoring a touchdown in the link? Kind of hit different. He wasn't expecting it to hit the way it did. Not in Detroit no more. Now you're a real stadium.
Right. Exactly. Do you guys think he's going to get at least Pro Bowl this year?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Does he have any votes for a Defensive Player of the Year?
It's hard for me to imagine Defensive Player of the Year, but I would definitely say he's going to be starting in the NFC, for the NFC in the Pro Bowl. I think that is definitely going to happen.
Right.
Now, if he gets another 2 touchdowns, you may start to hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
But he's had a great year. There's no question.
No, I agree. Do you think Hurts has finally silenced his critics?
No. I still hear them.
Both of you now.
I still hear the critics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't understand some of the things that I read, like I see people posting his passing statistics, right? But they don't post his rushing statistics. You can't separate one from the other, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, because if you're running the ball well, then you don't need to risk the pass. So to me, I don't understand some of it. Now, I do think it's fair to say that if you want to say, you know what, I'm not sure if he's a guy for 4 or 5 years down the road. I'm not sure they should give him a huge contract yet. I can understand that. You want more time. But I think to say that at least right now, I think he's at least earned the right to start next year and not go out and get another quarterback. And to keep him and give him another year to evaluate him is fair. That's where I'm at with him. I want him back. He's my starting quarterback next year, and I'm not going to go get a quarterback next year. I'm going to go with him. And then after that year, if he's better and he improves, and hopefully his passing comes along, then I'll consider signing him to a long-term deal.
Yeah, I think realistically, I don't think they go in this draft next year to go get a quarterback. I really don't. Even when Jalen Hurts was playing bad mechanically in the first quarter of the season, it really was on him, but it was on Nick Sirianni because Nick has to use him the right way in an offense and really, as we were promised in the offseason, diverse play calling and using players to their strengths, which we weren't promised that we weren't getting in the beginning. But for some reason, this team just changed it up, really turned around since I wouldn't say Detroit, probably the Chargers game offensively, and really showed that they can use these players to their advantage and get Jalen Hurts in a rhythm, because when he's in rhythm, he will pass the ball. But just because he doesn't have a lot of passing yards, and just because the Eagles have ran the ball a lot and a lot of yards, and it doesn't make him a bad quarterback. You have to balance this offense out. So if it's the choice of giving Jalen Hurts another year, then that's perfectly fine with me, because I think you have something better than what you have. And in his second year, you have something better than what you're going to have in this draft. And that's just me.
Yeah. I think, like you said, I personally think he's our quarterback. We need to ride him out. The numbers are, you can look at it both ways. I don't, like you said, I don't like how people do just look at his passing numbers, think that that's what it takes to get the franchise label, but at the same time, he is a dual threat. And like you said, Shakes, that he runs really good. You know what I'm saying? They have 70 yards, averaging 70 yards a game. He's getting rushing touchdowns. I think he's up to 8 or 9 this year. If he stays on pace with what he's doing, this guy's going to have over 1,200 yards rushing on the ground and like close to 3,500 yards passing, maybe even 4,000, depending on how much he can get in the air. That's some good numbers. You know what I'm saying? That's numbers that you can even start considering, MVP even, especially if we win out the rest of this year. Then he'll have the wins to back it up and the numbers to back it up. And we might be all looking at a whole nother situation.
I saw some things this week where they were saying that the Eagles are using him really similar to how Seattle used Russell Wilson his rookie year. And it's very similar. And if that's the trajectory he's on, that's great. What you're going to see is as he gets more comfortable, as he gets more experience, he's going to start to develop into a better passer. You'll start to see less runs and more throwing naturally. I don't think he can run this much 2-3 years in this league. You got to, at some point, you got to slow it down. He can't run that much. Eventually, he's going to get hurt. That's what I worry about with him running so much. But right now, if you want to bring him up and along the same way you did Russell Wilson, I think that's perfectly a good way to do it. Don't do it the way Washington. Remember what they did to RG3? I mean, they ruined him by doing too much. You've got to let him develop into being a passer and use his legs right now as he's developing. And then as he becomes more comfortable as a passer, you can back off the run so much. He can beat you with the arm more. So I just think it's a matter of time.
Kind of like a Lamar Jackson, right? Like Lamar Jackson, he wasn't that great as a passer, but he's definitely electrifying with his legs. I know Jalen don't got the athleticism as Lamar Jackson, so I'm not saying he is Lamar Jackson. I think he actually throws a little better right now than Lamar Jackson, But the years behind it, being able to see different defenses, getting that game experience in general, and that'll help his passing game come along. And then, you got a dual threat quarterback, for a while here. Like Nick Sirianni said in his presser, he was like, well, Jalen's a strong guy. He's not kind of built like a lot of quarterbacks, He's in there working out with the linemen, deadlifting, powerlifting. So he probably can take a lot more hits. And Jalen knows when to slide, and he knows how to get small for the hits. So he said he wasn't worried about that. And I wouldn't worry about it the first year or two. Like you said, if he continues, he doesn't develop as a passer, and he continues to just take those hits, and something might happen to him.
everything I've seen of Jalen Hurts so far, and this was always my argument, especially with Bad Dog, because Bad Dog was like, yeah, Jalen Hurts is never going to be anything, and that was the way it is. And I would say, all right, well, let's look at Jalen Hurts. What are the things he does bad? He's like, oh, he's not an accurate passer. He doesn't throw a good deep ball. I said, okay, what are the good things about him? Oh, he's got a lot of heart, team leader. All the intangibles that you can't teach, this guy has. All the things that you can get better at, he needs to get better at. He could still do that. So to me, this guy has all the makings from things that you can't teach of being a good quarterback. The things that he has to improve on are things that quarterbacks can improve on. So how could anybody just say that this guy can't develop into this kind of quarterback? To me, never made any sense.
Yeah, I think even what I've noticed even the past few games is I've seen like they let Jalen Hurts kind of command this offense a little bit, kind of go through his own, if he has to change the play, if he senses a corner blitz or something, he does change the play up. So I feel like they've given Jalen Hurts a little bit more control, which I think makes him more comfortable. But like Philly 500 said earlier, don't handicap your quarterback. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be, I know we don't want him to run as much, but there's going to be times where he just is going to, just because that's just his play style and there's nothing we can really do about it. But he's not making those one read, early in the season, those one reads, and he starts running. I mean, that was horrible, which makes, when it comes to his stats, like we talked about earlier, those end of the fourth quarter stats were kind of like, oh my God, they're really good. But teams were playing prevent. Everything was open underneath. And plus, but the understanding of all that is that we didn't run the ball either. So it makes it look worse than what it actually is. So,
Yeah, I mean, me and Joey talked about this on our podcast that it don't care what quarterback you are. If you're going to always run a one-dimensional offense in the NFL, defenses are going to know how to beat you. You're going to struggle. Okay, and I remember saying, we talked about it. Like Jalen Hurts. Let's go back a month ago. We were saying, look, Jalen Hurts got to have the whole year, but we're getting to a point where we need to see that next step. We need to see that progression. And it was like a week later. All of a sudden, in that Chargers game, to me, in the second half of that Chargers game, I saw something click with him. Mm-hmm. I saw him stay in the pocket, step up in the pocket, and not just look for his one read, then bail. He started to stick in there. He hit a throw to Devontae Smith for a touchdown. To me, at that point, I said, can this guy carry this over to the Denver game? And he did. And then he carried over to this game. So to me, he is showing you that he can develop. He just needs patience and time to do it. That's why if he continues to play the way he is right now to the end of the year, he's going to be my quarterback next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think, like you said, not running the ball definitely slowed that progression down. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I've been telling everybody in my past, man, no quarterback. You could have brought Brady. You could have brought Aaron Rodgers in that offense that we were running earlier in the season, and they would all suck. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was just not a productive offense. It wasn't anything helping nobody. You know what I'm saying? We weren't moving the ball. We were just backpedaling, and it just was horrible. I'm glad that they definitely got out of that mix, man. Yeah. Who would you say is getting too much playing time for our team, and who's not getting enough playing time for our team?
The obvious one. That nobody wants to say is J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, even though he started up after that second half, okay? The second half, the umbrella store, okay? Ever since we were being more conservative in that second half, and then all of a sudden, how went back to normal, or normal formula, we gave that 23-yard pass to J.J. We thought it was to a tight end. We thought it was to somebody else. We didn't know we didn't know who was running with the football. It was just weird. And he got it, and that's one guy that's taking snaps away from Quez Watkins, and it's way too much. So does this mean they're going to add JJ into the mix, or they can actually use this as an advantage too if they want to put JJ in as a blocker and they want to pass to him when teams don't expect it? But
yeah, because no one seems to be around him.
That's because nobody would ever think he was going to get the ball. It was the most genius play ever. Because who would ever think he was going to make a big catch? And it was a huge catch. Yeah. I mean, it really got the momentum turned back in our favor. But nobody ever thought he was going to do it. I don't want him playing. I don't care that he's a good blocker. I want Quez Watkins getting reps. You know, I got to tell you. I'll tell you another guy I would love to see get less snaps, but it'll never happen. And that's Derek Barnett. Get rid of him. I'm done with him. I'm so done with Derek Barnett. I mean, you can't. They have to play him. They don't really have anybody else. But man, I just hold my breath every time he even gets near a quarterback. I hold my breath.
Yeah, man. I'll say Barnett, obviously, you know, those penalties be killing us. He didn't get one last week, so that was pretty good. But yeah, we need him. I'm wondering what's going on with that whole defensive line. You know what I'm saying? We haven't even seen the Hargrave get a sack in the last couple of games, man. Like, what's going on with these guys up front?
Tommy, of course we look good. I'm Denzel Washington, baby. I look like Denzel Washington. Of course we looking good.
I think the issue right now, even, you know, I think part of it is scheme, but it's just weird. Like we brought in a lot of depth at defensive tackle. It seems like even our rookies, Teron Jackson and Milton Williams, our third-round picks, not really doing much at all, and that was mostly an analytical pick. Which I don't know. He shows flashes, but I think defensively, I don't know down the road if Jonathan Gannon will get fired. If it's a one and done year, we have to see the rest of these games, see what happens. They can't go conservative, obviously, because both sides went conservative in the second half, and obviously losing Slade to a concussion didn't help. Putting McPherson in there, but you know, Sweat has disappeared. Javon Hargrave, now teams are focusing on him to double him. But there were times, even in that Saints game, they were doubling Fletch as well. So, I mean, and Hargrave got some pressures. He had a couple tackles, so I don't think only had like 2 tackles for the day. But I don't know what they have to do here. They have to start doing stunts. They have to obviously blitz more, which they have been doing. They didn't in that second half, obviously. The defensive line, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I really don't know, like, why they're not. Brandon Graham has obviously been, you know, is not helping, not being here. So as of now, I don't know what else they have to do.
I mean, look, I think they're doubling Hargrave a lot more than they were early in the year now, and now Fletcher Cox has really got one-on-one. Number 91. That's all Joey's fault. All Joey's fault. But number 91 is got 1-on-1, right? He's getting blocked 1-on-1. And I think when you have that, it's really important that your edge rushers get home. And they don't get home. They're very underproductive. I mean, you have Josh Sweat has 3 sacks, 3.5 sacks, something like that. Mm-hmm. Barnett has 2 sacks, 2.5 sacks. Something like that. I mean, we're talking about 11 games, and you get 3 sacks. You have to get more production from your edge rushers, which is why I say that has to be the number one need in my opinion right now. Now I would look at Hassan Reddick, 10.5 sacks this year. He has 10.5 sacks. Free agent. Like, I would go after him, and then I would draft a defensive end. That's what the Eagles need. If they had a pass rush, if they had a 10-plus sack guy right now, they would be nasty. It would be a nasty defense.
I thought for sure they were going to get those sacks with those 2 tackles being out last week. You know, you thought it was a game for them. Like, right. Eat all day. You know what I'm saying? Sweat, Barnett should be meeting at the quarterback every single drop back. But no sacks.
I mean, they didn't even sniff. I don't even remember them sniffing Trevor Siemian.
No, the only one that got close, I think, was Hargrave. I seen him in there once. I think what was it, the safety blitz or something like that, or the cornerback blitz? And right there.
Avante Maddox was blitzed. They blitzed early in that game, and it messed up. New Orleans had problems with it. They actually ran some good blitzes, but then Hargrave got called on. Remember the roughing the passer, which was a horrible call. Yeah. It was a horrible call.
Yeah, man, they definitely need to get better up there, though. That's for sure. When do you guys think we're going to start seeing anything from Tyree Jackson?
It's more of a next night.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe. No, I was going to say 2 years. Sorry.
Yeah. You know, you're
2 years.
No, I think it's more of a next year. I think it's more of like a next year thing. I think this year they'll have him in the offense. They'll have him maybe block, and maybe I think they threw to him once or twice in the game yesterday, if I can remember. But Tyree Jackson is going to be interesting next year. A guy, he's 6'7", 6'8", something like that, 18.5-inch wingspan. I mean, this guy is just starting to learn the position this year. So really, I think it's more competition for next year. I think they're more comfortable with Jack Stahl being behind Dallas Goedert just because he's been around longer and he's been in the game plan a lot longer. So, I mean, I think it will change, but I'm excited for that tight end group in the future with Tyree Jackson, with another off season with the position, and I think it's going to go really well. I really do.
You figure Goddard's got a 3-year extension, right? So let's say Tyree Jackson becomes, let's say I think he's world-class athlete. I think he's super talented. Let's say he develops to a point where he's maybe better than Goddard or as good. You have to trade Goddard at that point, and that's exactly what I would do. And I would sell him high. And if he doesn't develop, you have Goddard, signed. But I think Tyree Jackson has the ability to be the best tight end on this team, and but he's going to need a few years.
Yeah,
right.
I see the talent too, like everybody else, and I thought for sure, you at least seen him a couple of nice catches. JJ got a catch for Christ's sake. You know what I'm saying? Let's get Tyree a couple of catches in the game, man. Let's get him a couple of catches in the game. Get him acclimated. I know he just got back. That was a pretty back injury he had there. I think it was a back injury. But man, you gotta get him rolling. Because that could be a deadly combination. With those two guys out there on the field at the same time. And like you said, he's 6'8", man. Red zone target like a mug. So just throw it up to Jackson when you get in those red zone areas. That's a spot I really was looking forward to seeing him play. You know what I'm saying? I haven't really seen him play too much in there.
Yeah.
But overall, so far through these games, what do you guys think about the coaches? Have Gannon got out of your doghouse yet? I know Nick's out of the doghouse, but has Gannon finally made it out of that doghouse as well, or he's still there?
Gannon's been up and down, and Gannon needs to. It was to a point where it was a few weeks ago when Gannon had his own defensive players come up to him, and for them, Fletcher Cox came under the bus in the scheme that they were running. They were having Fletch run, kind of cover some screen passes, and I don't know how he's using some of these players, but. I think it's gotten. I don't think they're doing. I think they're doing just enough, but enough is just not enough. You know what I mean? Like there's not. They have to get in the backfield a lot more. There's just. The cornerbacks are the cornerbacks and line and TJ Edwards. It's really TJ Edwards and these corners are playing lights out. The one year when we wanted two capable cornerbacks used the right way. If you guys remember, Jonathan Gannon was a cornerback coach for the Colts last year, so that's why that's working out so well. And Jim Schwartz is not here, so this is like the one year that the defensive line, like we have no pressure this year. Every single year, I almost the last time the Eagles really had no pressure with this defensive line. But the secondary is really saving it, even though they I don't think the corners are used the right way when they second, third, and short, and they got the corners moved off to 15 yards off the receivers. But I think that's what's kind of saving this defense, because really without Slay and Steven Nelson and Vontae Maddox, TJ Edwards, Davion Taylor, I don't think you have anything in this defense. I think it's those guys. Your defensive line is keeping busy, but they're just not doing enough. You need more disruption in the backfield. That's the biggest problem, and that's what's going to turn games around. And it's like I said, it's more of an up and down year. So the defense is doing just enough to complement the offense, but it still is not enough. I think they need to do better in the defensive line area.
Hey, shout out to Tommy with that $2 super chat. He said the Bengals won't make the playoffs. Yeah, you're hoping not with the Niner fans in here. But shout out for the $2 super chat, my guy.
Niners.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
The Niners. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Niners stink. Look, if you got, I would love to play that Niners game again, because replay. Because, dude, we blew so many opportunities early in that game to go up, and if you would have just, if you would put the way this team is playing now is not the same team early on. But I do want to say, like speaking about which coaches, Nick Sirianni is out of my doghouse. He's not Nick Cote anymore. He's Nick Sirianni again, because he adjusted, he changed up, and I think that's very impressive. And he's actually growing on me more and more. Pause. But you know what I'm saying? But as far as Gannon goes, I still want him gone at this point. Now, I could change my mind. I like the way he coached the first half. Here's my theory on Gannon, okay? This is my theory on him. I think Gannon has too much respect for good quarterbacks with names. You look at the guys, Dak Prescott, Herbert, Derek Carr, all these guys had ridiculous completion percentages against us. And a lot of that had to do because he refused to bring pressure, because I think he was showing them too much respect. When you look at the other quarterbacks, like Teddy Bridgewater, last week, Trevor Siemian, and he brings the heat and he brings pressure at them, they struggle. I think that he almost shows these quarterbacks too much respect, and he needs not to. He needs to be more aggressive. But right now, I love what he did in the first half of last game. Hated what he did in the second half of last game. So I'm still in favor at this point of moving on from him. But there's still time.
Yeah, I agree on that one, man. I don't think he does give those good quarterbacks a little too much respect. You got to go after all quarterbacks. There shouldn't really be a good or bad quarterback. You should have a defensive plan that's attacking the quarterback every game, no matter who he is. I know some of those goats, but if you look at the league, even like the Tom Brady's, the Russell Wilsons, like these guys are making mistakes all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of turnovers from quarterbacks. Even like Dak last night, he threw like a couple in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys, if you put that pressure on them, I don't think there is any quarterback in the league right now that if you do put that pressure on them, they're gonna just carve you up like past years. You know what I'm saying? This year it seems like all of them have flaws and they all can be touched.
I mean, when a guy's like, when a quarterback's like 24 of 28 against you, at what point do you say, well, I got to try something new here to make sure that I do something to knock this guy off his game? And he will not do that. That is a big problem for me still. So, I want to see how it finishes off the season. I want to see if the defense continues to get better. I also think that the lack of pass rush by the defensive line is a real problem for the Eagles. Mm-hmm. It just is.
More than the linebackers?
Yeah, I think the biggest problem.
All of them, like linebackers are trash.
Oh, and the linebackers. Trash. I like TJ Edwards. I do. I just think that when you look at the Eagles, how they build their defense, it's always predicated, and for as long as I've been watching Eagles, it's pretty much always been predicated on the defensive line. Mm-hmm. So, to me, the Eagles look at the defensive end as a very important premium position, and I don't think that you can run this defense without good ends. And I think that's the number one need on this team, because I think they need 2 starting defensive ends, not 1.
Yeah, even with you need 2 starting defense. I mean, you definitely do. You need caliber edge rushers, and I think that's what you need here, and that's what's hurting us the most, because a lot of promises, especially with Derek Barnett, not being that first round, being that first round pick, that really hasn't worked out for us, really, other than having one good rookie year, and that's pretty much it. But to go back on, obviously, completion percentage, like allowing quarterbacks to go over 80% of their passes, completion percentage like three or 4 times this year. I mean, like Derek Carr, 31 for 34. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So they have to fix that. And I mean, like with Jim Schwartz, we didn't really deal with that because he didn't treat any quarterback different. We blitzed every single game. We brought the heat every single game. It didn't matter who was behind there. So, I mean, I think Gannon just has to change it up a little bit. But, I'm not a fan of Gannon, and I'm pretty much on the outs with him. Like, even if they at the end, the end of this season, maybe get into a wild card spot, or if they don't, or as long as they end the season on a good note to where we could say, okay, I'll this team put their foot forward, and I agreed on what they did this year, and and I thought they got a lot better at the end of the year. Then that's fine. As long as they take a foot forward, I don't care. But Gannon's just one of those. I think we need a veteran defensive coordinator. But the problem with that is with Howie Roseman here, as well as getting a head coach that we could have gotten, Brian DeBall, and obviously the Chargers head coach that was supposed to come here, and they rejected those interviews. I don't know if they could get a veteran defensive coordinator. I don't know if those guys are going to be handcuffed as well. I'm not sure if they can get a guy like that. That's another problem that we have on our hands too when it comes to the hirings. So
Right.
Yeah, man. I'm on fence with him too. You know, how's he going? I want to see what he's going to do because I feel like we should win out. I don't really see any of these teams, as a big enough threat to beat us right now. We're on a roll on offense, and I feel like if we were to lose any of these games, it's going to be because of the defense not playing right. You know what I'm saying? Like Gannon playing too soft or something like that, not attacking the defense, and they're starting to make their way because we do got some good running backs coming up. You know what I'm saying? There are some good running backs over there. And I know we've been doing good with the running game, but at times people have had their spurts, even last game. You see a guy like Ingram. He kind of went off for a little bit in the middle of that game there where he was getting chunks of yards left and right. But you can't really do that, especially like this week when we go against a guy like Saquon Barkley. Barkley has been injured, I know, a lot, but he's still one of those guys that any given game, he can heat up, and you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that defense where you heat up on, start running the ball down and throw it the whole game. So, if he can stop them all and does his job, if we're in close shootouts and then maybe we lose one or two here or there, whatever. But I don't want to see the rest of these teams score pretty much more than like 17 points. You know what I'm saying? Like that should be your cap there. If they're putting up 20, 25, 29 points on you, that's a lot. 30 points, that's a lot. Even if we get the win, you know what I'm saying? So I want to see this defense really tighten up in terms of points. You know what I'm saying? Like they got to stop giving up so many points in the game, is my opinion.
Do you think Jordan Howard is a big loss for next week? For this week?
I think it's yes and no. Because I do like the way Jordan Howard. I wasn't a big Jordan Howard guy either. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't. But those last couple of games, he showed that he is a great north and south runner. You know what I'm saying? He gets up the field, he does his thing. But you've seen the difference in stats. Like Jordan had 18 carries for 68 yards. Miles had 16 carries for 95 yards. So you see the difference there. Like you don't take as many yards for Miles to get up there. I think Miles is a way better running back overall, but he's a great complement, thunder and lightning type situation when you got a guy like Howard in the game. It's going to be a loss because he's that power guy, But Boston Scott's been running pretty powerful, pretty hard. He's getting those 2-3 yard type runs down packed right now, like last week. I think hopefully he can come back next week, maybe not this week, but the following week, and that'll be good for it. But I want to see Miles Sanders get a boatload of carries this game. You know what I'm saying?
I hope Saquon Barkley doesn't go off in this game. That's what I'm hoping does not happen. Like I don't think that Giants line is atrocious to me. Like this is why Saquon, this is the last year of his contract. I don't think the Giants resign him, or maybe they do resign him on a prove it deal because maybe no teams will be interested. Maybe he'll take his bet somewhere else. I don't know. But that's what I'm kind of afraid of in this game this week. And, the line is atrocious. So, even when I was watching Saquon Barkley run the other night, I was kind of like, he's not getting enough push.
Well, I think he's coming back from a torn ACL from last year. Well, guys are never the same the first year back, and then they always deal with more injuries. So I'm not really surprised by that. I'll tell you, the one thing that does worry me a little bit, this is going to sound weird, but Jason Garrett getting fired today, the offensive coordinator of the Giants, not that I think he does a great job, but I hate the unpredictability of who's going to be taking over for him and what they're going to do different. We don't really have any tape or anything on that, so not really sure what we're going to get there. Sometimes that could work against us. That can be a disadvantage.
Like
not knowing
the Raiders.
Right. So that does concern me a little bit because I don't even know who's taking over as offensive coordinator. But you don't know what they're going to do. You don't know how they're going to change things. That worries me a little bit.
So what tape do they look on the past, obviously the whole season? So now it's do they look at old tape or, I don't think, could they really change this whole offense that different?
No,
Probably
not that much, but
the judge,
can they do it enough?
Is Judge a defensive coach?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think was he a special teams coach?
A special teams coordinator.
Yeah.
Oh.
Why you fired Garrett and not just bench Daniel Jones is beyond me.
Right?
I mean, you can't. Jason Garrett didn't throw that interception. Did you see that interception last night? My God, he stinks. And here's the thing: Gannon wants to save his job. He better blitz Daniel Jones. You better blitz him because when Daniel Jones has pressure, he will turn the ball over. It's guaranteed. But you got to get pressure on him.
And we better not see another 60-yard run from Daniel Jones.
That's what I'm saying too. Like you talk about the 60-yard run from Daniel Jones. That's what I'm afraid of too, because the read option is going to kill us if our ends can't maintain. It's going to be a problem. I think Saquon Barkley in that read option is going to be where we're going to get tested with the Giants offense. I think
if they use it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got one said, do you think we need to still fire Howie? Both of them.
Nobody is getting me off of this.
Now with that.
No,
you got the whole 18 draft re-signed.
Okay, the 18 draft.
Right.
And then what else?
This year's draft, we got some good picks. Right.
Okay. Right.
And so all the trades that we've made that've been semi-good.
He does a good job with trades, but in terms of drafting, so we're talking about the 18th draft, the 18 draft, and then this was the 21 draft, right? So what happened in 19, 20, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12? I mean, the guy's been in the organization for 21 years. I cannot, and I'm not changing my mind on this. I need to see a lot of big picks, successful picks for like 2 or 3 years before I change my mind. I do not think Howie Roseman should be drafting players. He should not. You can keep him, let him do contracts, let him do trades, but I don't want him being a talent evaluator. I'm not coming off that. Nobody, and people are trying to tell me, like, dude, come on, man, Howie, look. It's like the guy does one good year of drafting out of 21 years.
What year was it? We got Hurts in 18 too, huh?
We got Hurts in 19.
Yep, there's 19, right? You got
That's one, right? But I don't care what you say. I don't care what anybody says. Regardless of how good Jalen Hurts is, there's never a reason to undermine the franchise quarterback of the time. So we didn't know how good Hurts was going to be. They didn't know. They had an idea, but they threw their other quarterback to the wind. The Eagles did not draft Jalen Hurts with the intention of replacing Wentz. They drafted him with the intention of being a backup.
Right. Right.
You can't do that. If they traded Wentz and then draft Hurts, I would say genius.
Okay.
But they drafted Hurts with the intention of being a backup. You don't draft a backup in the second round. I need more time with Howie.
Jeremiah Butler with the $2 super chat said we need to change Howie's position for GM.
Yeah.
From 4M GM, not fire. Yeah. From a GM, not fire.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. Change it. Let him be the special assistant of the owner. I don't care what you call it. But put him in charge of trades and contracts.
He was the actual GM. Like, remember that year Chip came? They moved him to what?
He was moved to the boiler room troll.
But he
was in the boiler room.
Contracts, right?
He was cap, like I think they called it like cap specialist or something like that. And he was in charge. He's supposed to be in charge of contracts. And the first year under Chip, he was making the draft. That Marcus Smart, is that his guy's name? He drafted him in the first round and blew that pick. And then there was a big fight. Chip got control. And despite, you can say what you want about Chip, but his early picks stunk. But he made some decent picks with Jordan Hicks and some guys like that.
Whole team.
That's because he was Chip Dip Kelly. I mean he's a moron, but he drafted better than what's his face. Freddie Kitchens is replacing him. So yeah, you got to go look at what Freddie Kitchens likes to do.
Thanks a lot for the $5 super chat. Yeah, he says Kitchen and replacing Gary.
Yeah.
Where was Kitchen from? That name sound was that the
Cleveland?
Browns?
Yeah,
right.
He was on the Browns,
I think he got fired. I think he was a one and done coach. See, I mean. Freddie Kitchens stinks. I feel better now. But but yeah, I don't know. Oh, it's Frank the Tank. Look at that.
Frank the Tank. I didn't see that. This is fine. Just doesn't throw the ball. Well, he can throw the ball.
That's ridiculous. Come on, man.
Good balls. I don't know how people.
He's fine throwing the ball.
He has nice passing game going on there, man.
He's
not the best quarterback in the league. He doesn't have the best arm in the league, but he got a lot. He makes a lot of wild throws.
He needs time to develop the passing game part of him, and he will.
I still think Philly 500. You still got us winning with Giants OC fired.
Yeah. It'll be a close game because it always is, but it'll be late. It'll be late in the fourth quarter, and something crazy will happen, and we'll win.
Like when your OC gets fired, it could be either or. It could be like a bad thing.
It could be either or. Yeah.
You know.
Question is, if Daniel Jones struggled, would they pull him? Like how? Where are the Giants?
I don't think they're ever going to pull Daniel Jones though.
I mean, to me, it's like. Wait, where was that? To me, it's like. I don't know. This guy's see. Here's the problem. I always say you got to give guys 3 years. Like that's why I don't try to kill Jalen Reagor. You don't hear me kill Jalen Reagor because I'm like give him 3 years and then let's see where he's at. Daniel Jones is in his 3rd year. This to me was a make or break year for Daniel Jones. I gotta think the Giants gotta be at their wit's end with this kid. I just would think they have to.
Yeah. Because I don't see him being anywhere productive. He's not a good quarterback. Yeah, he's a good running quarterback because he gets a lot of rushing yards too. I will say that every game you see Daniels running from his life, he's getting like a 20 or 30-yard run in there. So
it's a whole mess in New York. It might be Gettleman might get fired. I mean, I think Gettleman, their GM, definitely will probably get fired after this year. They overpaid too many players. They were overhyped beginning of the year, and it was just mostly it was just look good on paper, and that's all they really had. And we all kind of knew this was coming with them. So
they spent big money on Galladay, and Galladay is he's a decent receiver. He's not a premier top 5 wide receiver like they acted like. Let me tell you that.
See the receiver core as a whole. Do you think aren't those good enough receivers to be a good quarterback?
Jason, what's up, dude? I'm sorry. I saw Denzel. I just lost my train of thought here because, of course, I look like him. Oh shit! Sorry,
so Shakes. Did you guys hear me?
No.
Yeah. I hear you.
Do you guys think with the receiving core that he has, he should be a good quarterback? You know, those receivers. And then Ingram's not a bad tight end either.
I think it's scheme and it's quarterback play. I think it's both.
I think he should be better. He should be better. I mean, to be drafted where he was drafted, he's got weapon. I think Slayton's decent. Yeah. Kadarius Toney, he's got some talent. Galladay, they should be better. There's no question. He almost seems like a one-read quarterback to me. You know, sometimes. I think he stinks. You know.
Is it still mad about JOK not going over there? JOK is looking pretty good this year.
Yeah, I'm over it in terms of there's nothing we can do about it, but I still think they blew an opportunity. I still think they should have got him because I still think Landon Dickerson, if you really want to Landon Dickerson, then you had so many picks. Draft JOK, draft Asante Samuel Jr. Can you imagine Asante Samuel Jr. is on this team right now with Slay? I mean, dude, you know, I think you could have probably. I think the Eagles. Landon Dickerson pick is fine. He looks great, but I think they could have gotten both. That's my issue. I think you could have waited.
Trade back into the second.
They could have traded. They had multiple picks. They could have traded back up late in the second or early in the third, and probably have gotten them. Mm-hmm. So you could have done it, and then you would have come out. You would have another starting corner right now, or a linebacker to go along with T.J. Edwards. I mean, that you're talking, man. So I think that.
But if you don't get him again, now you're looking at our line right now.
Yeah, well, that's true. It's true, but I don't think
Herbert and
from everything we heard, he wasn't going anytime soon.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So what do you guys think? High scoring game, low scoring game. And what are 3 keys of victory for you guys?
Go ahead.
I think a low scoring game. I think the Eagles will separate probably in the second half. They'll probably separate a little bit. I think they'll be using Miles Sanders and Boston Scott a lot. And a good passing from Jalen Hurts, and hopefully I do want to see more wide receivers. In this game, I want to see Quez gets. I don't think Quez was even targeted once. Even last game, Rager's got to stop having negative yards. They got to do more with him because I don't know what they're doing with him in this offense. I don't know why he's in it at this point. I think at this point, Greg Ward should at least get some more snaps if they can't use Rager. And I know that Greg Ward is more reliable. Defense needs to get pressure on Daniel Jones, kind of defend against the read option. And obviously, stopping Saquon Barkley is probably the number one thing. I think if you get pressure on I think we're going to get some picks this game. I think they could do it. They get some pressure, and that's the only problem. It seems like we talk about injuries to offenses, and we're like, oh, we should be able to get in the backfield, and we don't. Not a good offensive line for the Giants. So I think really if we go – it's really – there's nothing different, guys. We stay in the same formula offensively and balance out the offense a little bit. And then defensively, they just have to keep blitzing and just maintaining. Make sure these defensive ends are getting pressure and maintaining that edge because these runs are going to be coming to the outside, whether it's Daniel Jones or Saquon Barkley. So
I'm going to say I think this is going to be, I won't say a high scoring, but I'll say both teams score within the 20s. And I think this is a close game into the fourth quarter because that's what these games with the Giants always are. They're always close. But I think that the Eagles will win. And my keys to the game are simple. Keep running the ball. Do not respect Daniel Jones at all. Go at him. Get pressure on him. And then the third thing is I think you're going to have teams start to really sell out on that run. And I think the play action is going to be open. So I would like to see some big play action. And I think Devontae Smith is in line to have a monster game.
Ooh, against the Dory, or what's their other cornerback?
James Bradbury. Yeah.
hey, that's good, man. Like I said, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game for us. If that matters. I don't see the Giants scoring too many points there. Like I said, like if we can keep them in that range, that 17-point range or below, you know what I'm saying? They might get a touchdown here or there, but I think we could really go in there and put a whooping on these Giants, you know what I'm saying? Bring out the brooms because I feel like the Giants and the Washington football team need to get swept.
That would be beautiful. I'll say that.
I think we can do it, especially with Chase out and Sweat out over there in Washington. And then even though Heineken's playing pretty good, but not to have that awesome defensive line that they say they have, even though they haven't really been doing that great this year. But just knowing that two of those people are gone, it should make it a lot easier for us with our offensive line. Because I feel like our offensive line can move anybody. When they're in rhythm like the way they're doing right now, they can run on everybody. We proved it last week over the best run defense. You know what I'm saying? So if we can do it against the best run defense, like Shake said earlier, what defense can stop us? You know what I'm saying? No one should be able to stop that the whole rest of the season. So we don't play no talented teams really. Maybe Dallas at the end, if they keep losing, you know what I'm saying? There could be. That was my last question, kind of before we get out of here and do a score prediction. Was if they keep losing, do you if Dallas loses 2 more games, are you guys still feeling that we have a chance of getting that division at the end?
Yeah, I think we have a chance now. You're only 2 games back, right? You're 2.5 games because of the bye, but you got to play Dallas again. You still play them again. You've only played what? We've only played 1 divisional game. So, yeah, I think there's still opportunity for the Eagles to win division. It may not be likely. Now, if Dallas loses on Thursday, then it's on. I know Cowboy fans are starting to sweat a little bit. They're starting to get a little nervous. I feel it in my chats during my stream. They're getting a little nervous because they're looking at the Eagles offense going, we can't stop that. We can't stop that running game. That's a problem. The other thing I want to say, though, about this Giants game, a lot of people were saying last night while I was streaming it that on Giants streams and stuff, they weren't even talking about the game. They were talking about the Eagles. Remember, the Giants hate us because we kept them from going to the playoffs last year. How much is that team going to be up to play us this week? Were they overlooking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and thinking about playing us and more worried about that game? They're a pathetic team. And so it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens with that, if that's forgotten or if that's going to be an issue this week.
And Jack and Devontae Smith from them.
Yeah.
They wanted Devontae
Yeah,
bad.
and that's why he has to go
we
off.
made a deal with the devil.
That's why he has to go off for like 180 yards, you know? Like, I want him to have like 3 touchdowns, 212 yards, 15 catches.
Right.
I want them to be just like utterly destroyed. And the best part about it is the Giant fans, they're all like, they wanted Devontae Smith. We're going to get Devontae. We have a chance at Devontae Smith. That's like, we never wanted him. We wanted Kadarius Toney all along. Oh, yeah, right.
And shout out to Richard for the $5 super check. He says, keep blitzing, make Daniel Jones nervous, and he'll throw 3 picks. Yeah.
I agree.
We seen it last night, right?
Yeah.
Did he throw 3 yesterday, too?
He threw 2, I think. He threw 2, maybe 3, but I remember 2. Oh, I think he did throw 3. Yeah. I think he threw one in the end zone, one to the. I don't know. He threw it right to the defensive lineman. I mean, it was like he went to his right, and then you throw. They tell you never go to your right or your left, and then throw back the other way. You're not supposed to do that. If you want to get rid of the ball, you throw it. If you run to your right, you throw it towards the right sideline. He throws it back the other way, right to the defensive lineman. It was crazy.
So give me a
Kara
score prediction,
what's
guys.
up? Hope you're feeling better. She had her gallbladder out, so shout out to her. Hope she's feeling good.
Nina says 34-17. What do you guys think?
I love it. I'm going to say 28-21 Eagles.
Yeah, I was gonna say 28 as well. 28-16.
I'm gonna go 35-14 Eagles.
I think this always happens. Every time we say like low scores, and they always score higher than what we always expect. So maybe this is a good luck charm type of thing that we're doing.
Yeah, because I think we should blow them out for real. I don't really think they're on the same level as us right now. You know, the way we're playing right now, the momentum that we got right now. I see like if we play like a Chiefs or a harder team, I'm more worried about a loss. But with this schedule that we have left, we already been battle tested. We went through our close games. We did all of our tests early in the season. So a lot of these teams are taking their tests now. We took it at the beginning of the season. I think now it's time for us to just start cleaning up and getting into playoff mode and beat up on the teams we're supposed to beat up on. Giants, and then we go to the Jets. That should be another easy game. Then we get our bye. So anybody that's hurt, time for you guys to come back, get up there, get back in the fold of things, and then finish it off against our division nicely to get to that playoff. So we'll see what happens, man. Thank you guys again for coming on the show, man.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Tell everybody where they can find you at, even though I know they all know where you're at.
Oh, you can find me Philly 500.
Shakedown plug. You can do the shakedown plug now.
Philly Shakedown every week, every Saturday, either on my channel or Joey's channel. And we do Saturday preview, and then we do a Sunday post game. So look for that each and every week. It's always fun, and eventually we'll be spreading out to other outlets as well. So yeah, look for that.
Yeah,
nice.
Definitely.
All right, guys, and you guys know Bird Gang 31. If you have not subscribed, please do. On the road to 2K, just hit 1,700. Feeling good about that. Thank you guys. You guys are my inspiration of doing this in the first place. And let's keep on going. Let's get these birds to the playoffs. And let's fly, Eagles, fly. Till next time, this is Bird Gang 31, and we are out. Peace.
Peace.